Hello friends, this is Akulmach Live and I am Chandrakant. Today's discussion is going to be very interesting. It's about senior executives validating, cross-checking their corporate health as well as their mental health situation with a well-known global guru. And this has to be done while maintaining a bit of secrecy. So how this whole process works is the matter of discussion today. Before we start our discussion, I must tell you there is a giveaway in our show. Stick around to this very interesting show. We will tell you in the end how you can claim your free gift. Welcome back, friends. And in today's discussion, we want to basically touch upon the very important subject about therapy for senior executives. And to discuss this particular important subject, I have a very special guest in the studios. His name is Mr. Mike Bradley. He is the Group CSO of RHF and Scale Up Arena, and he's joining us from UK. So without further ado, let me present Mike to you.
Good afternoon, Chandra. How are you? Just enjoyed your lunch?
Of course, Mike, all is well. This wretched virus has also started reducing a little bit in India, and we have just started the great Indian summer. The temperature is almost touching 40, so we are enjoying the heat.
Right, yeah, very nice. So you don't need to cook on an oven. You can just cook on the bonnet of your car now.
All we have to do is just step out of the house.
There you go.
So I think the subject is quite interesting, and that is the related to the mental health of the senior executives, and how we all can be therapeutic to our own lifestyle, and how we can improve our mental health attitude towards others. So over to you, Mike. What do you want to say on this subject?
Yeah, well, not just mental health, mental and corporate health. I've been running this session for executives, board members. I tend to do it one-on-one because it's quite a, I also call it the executive therapist chair. It's sort of taking a couple of hours out to take stock. And I think quite often we can get so intent on our concerns in the business that we actually forget to sort out the wood from the trees, as we say. So take stock of where we're at. What are the key things we need to be focusing on? Are we focusing on the right things, etc., etc.? So for me, and I found I've had very good responses to this. And the nice thing is you can do it over the virtual meetings as well. It's obviously very good to do it in face-to-face, but it can also be done online. So we can do this around the world, and it's always been received well. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that people have said various kind things about it, and so yeah, it hits the right spot.
Very interesting, Mike. So can you tell us how does this work? It requires a booking of some time with you, or is it a repetitive process where you have to keep visiting and talking to you for half an hour, maybe once a week or twice a week? How does this work?
Well, basically, there's an initial session. If it's a one-man founder executive, I recommend, obviously we have an ongoing ongoing dialogue, but we start with a 2 to 2.5 hour session. If it's a board of directors, I do them individually because I call it anonymized brainstorming. It takes the politics out of the situation. We talk about the key drivers, priorities, and what they feel is going well, what they feel is not going well, some situational analysis, what sort of things are sort of keeping them awake at night from a corporate perspective. What are the things that they wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh my goodness, I'm not happy about that. So we talk about all those sort of things. The idea being we then come through this sort of what I call the triple I process, which is ideation, thinking of ideas, incubation, and implementation. After the session with each of the individuals, if it's a team, you've got a number of key ideas and thoughts and options, and then we bring it together for a group feedback session if it's a board, and all the responses are anonymized, so nobody can tell who said what. But for example, if there's 4 people and 3 of them are thinking these are the major things that are keeping us sleepless, or these are the best options, then those are thrown back into the mix and sort of helps to sanity check review the tactical, operational, and strategic priorities. And then what we can do is, say, 3 months later, have another either review session one-on-one. Instead of maybe a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, it would just be an hour to review where we were at from last time, hone it. So yes, it basically is booked. It's a book session. There's a per head fee. And like I say, it can be done face-to-face or remotely. Remotely is more efficient on all sorts of ways. Obviously, it's much as it would be nice to travel to India. It's not possible to do that at the moment, but the session can be run remotely with a quarterly update review. It becomes very much a therapist chair type environment, because once you start talking, you start to get interested and involved in what the person's thinking, what they're doing. You then want to become, get better involved with it. Come to think of it, Chandra, I should do it with you.
I think I can offer myself as a guinea pig to you in one of these sessions, and we can probably record it to demonstrate to people how it works. But I have a very
no, I wouldn't record it. I think it's very much. I wouldn't record it. No, because I think the information that comes out of there is what we call Chatham House rules. So you can say whatever you want in there. It doesn't go anywhere else. I think that's very important.
Yeah, that was my question, in fact. So you clarified. Thanks for clarifying it. And I have another question, which is related to how people start opening up. I think that is the biggest challenge we face today, that people don't open up. So what is your technique of making sure that these senior executives who are well-traveled, well-educated, how you make them open their mind and be frank with you?
Well, I think, apart from my natural charm, you mean? And my modesty. No. Well, the way it starts, of course, the best way is always to start by sort of giving a little bit of personal information, disclosing, like I tell them where I'm living or what I do and blah, blah, blah. A little bit about me to show the human side. And ask them the same thing. So immediately there's more of a personal interaction. But then, of course, the best way to get anybody to do anything is to let them talk about themselves. So, because we're gearing this towards a business angle, it's not a personal therapist chair, so it's a corporate therapist chair, executives chair. So get them to talk about the situational factors, their business, what they do, where they do it, how they do it. What was their vision, what's their mission. Get them to talk about that, and then they start talking. Because people like to talk about themselves.
Well, that's true, but many times people just do a lot of chit-chatting, but they don't talk anything which is of any sense, and because of that they may not get the value. So I think it's very important for people to be very frank with you, so that you can offer them a clear and concise solution. I think that is a challenge, and I'm sure you are having a lot of practice making sure that people open up with you, and it's a closed door environment. Tell me something, Mike. Do you also do this in a group, like unknown people, not a board, but people from different companies coming together and talking? Is like a therapy session?
Well, what we can do, and what I have done, is have the same sort of approach, but talk around a particular subject. So, maybe it would be implementation of IoT in manufacturing. And we can have people to go through a session with a similar structure, but talking about the challenges of that particular environment. And the idea being, again, to ideate, incubate, and implement around that particular focused subject. So that's another way that it can be done on a group basis with lots of different companies. Maybe it's, horizon gazers, maybe it's product specific. You can also do it within a division. So it could be a subsidiary or a particular line of business. It doesn't have to be just the executives or the board. It could be a divisional team. It could be a global team. It could be a product team. You can work it in various ways, and it is it's a structure that I've put together after years of sort of living this and having the bruises from working in corporate life, to say, well, how, because at the end of the day, what we need to do is find a good way forward. And some subjects are too sensitive to deal with face to face. And we need to do it in a confidential way. So, you can do it in any way, but it's a bit like a brainstorming situation, in the sense you can throw a subject on the table. But I think if you're looking particularly around a team, say in a division, you've got to be very careful of the politics, because one particular member of the team may have it in somebody else, or the politics can play too much of a part in the discussion. So even with if it was a subject, throw the subject on the table, use the structure that I've got to actually go through the subject, that's fine. But I think if it's a division, if it's a team, I still believe it's better to do the one-on-one sessions and then bring it back with a collective review of what has been said. And like I say, if you've got a team of 5 people and 3 people in the room have said this thing, even though it might have been not the leader's chosen strategy, it might be worth reviewing and considering it as a good idea for the future.
Fantastic. So that brings me to the last question, which is how people reach out to you. Is there a web services based appointment system, or they just call you? How does it work?
No, they can reach out to me via my usual email address, via yourselves, via Scale Up Arena. If you go on to scaleuparena.com, you will find and type in executive therapist chair or strategic sanity check review, or even my name, then you'll get the strategic sanity check review come up. There's a contact us button on there. Complete the contact us, and I will hot tail it across to you and sort out your challenge, work with you to optimize your opportunities.
Excellent, Mike. I think this is one side of your offerings I came to know today, and it was very pleasing to hear the methodology and kind of work, which is very, very important and more relevant in today's environment. So I think people who are listening can reach out to us, Akulmach, or they can directly reach out to Mike, or they can go to scaleuparena.com and reach out to Mike through that route. So
and what I will say as well, Chandra, is if somebody comes through and says that they've come via Akulmach, I will give a 20% discount on the pricing.
Excellent. So I think this is an offer which if you're using Akulmach as a reference point, you will get 20% discount. So people who want to leverage this particular offer, they can. And Mike, it was lovely talking to you today. It was my pleasure, and probably we can have a session sometime this week or next week. But
Yep.
I'll catch up on our shows at the same time, on the same
Yep.
subject.
We'll schedule a 90-minute, and I'll go through it with you. We'll do an executive therapist chair for you, Chandra. And I'll see those furrow brow release afterwards.
Sure. Look forward to it, Mike.
Pleasure to talk to you as always.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have some unique Akulmach memorabilia which will make you look outstanding. The graphics on these corporate gifts are based on the global best business practices. To become recipient of one of these gifts for free, you have to watch this video till the end and provide your valuable comments. Or you can also share your experiences. The person who makes the best comment would be chosen to become a recipient of this beautiful Akulmach gift, absolutely free, delivered to your doorsteps. The winner would also get a chance to be invited live as a distinguished panelist during our next video. What are you waiting for, friends? Please subscribe Akulmach and smash that like button.